My classmate stole my girlfriend in high school. 10 years later, she stole $200,000 from him, and he called me for help. You know how every small town has that one guy everyone thought would make it big? For us, that was Tyler. And for a long time, I honestly thought he would. Tyler was the golden boy in high school, charming, confident, always got the teachers laughing, and somehow managed to coast through everything without ever looking like he tried. I wasn't jealous, not at first, anyway. We were friends. Not best friends, but close enough to share notes, jokes, and even car rides home when my old truck broke down. Then there was Samantha. Sam was the girl everyone liked, smart, kind, always smiling. We'd been friends since sophomore year and started dating our senior year. It wasn't fireworks and movie clichés, it was just, easy. She understood me, and I thought I understood her. Until Tyler decided he wanted her too. It started small, him walking her to class, since we were both heading that way, helping her with chemistry homework he clearly didn't understand, then suddenly sitting with her at lunch even when I was right there. I thought I was paranoid until the homecoming dance, when I saw them dancing a little too close. 2 weeks later, Sam broke up with me. Her reason? You're sweet, but I just feel like we're growing in different directions. Yeah. Straight into Tyler's arms. I wish I could say I handled it maturely. I didn't. I avoided them both, threw myself into work, and told myself I'd forget. But you don't forget that kind of betrayal, it just hardens you. After graduation, Tyler got into business school on a scholarship, and Sam followed him across the state. They posted everything online, the perfect couple. Trips. Dinners. Her wearing his varsity jacket on campus. It made me sick. I moved away for college, worked part-time jobs, studied, and tried to rebuild myself. And I did. Slowly. By 25, I had a decent job at a tech company, a small apartment, and peace. The kind of peace you get when you've stopped expecting the past to fix itself. Then, out of nowhere, Tyler messaged me. It was a random Tuesday night. My phone buzzed. Tyler, hey man. Long time. Can we talk? My first reaction. Why the hell would I ever talk to you again? But curiosity won. People like him don't reach out unless something's burning down. So I said. Sure. What's up? 5 minutes later, my phone rang. His voice was shaky, not the confident, cocky tone I remembered. Dude. I don't even know where to start. Try the beginning, I said flatly. She's gone, he said. Sam. She's gone. Gone as in left you, or? Gone as in disappeared. With everything. I leaned back. Everything. $200,000, he said quietly. For a second, I thought he was joking. What? She took it, man. Every cent. The money from our joint account, my crypto, my investment portfolio, everything. She even sold my car while I was out of town visiting my dad. I blinked. And you want me to do what about it? I don't know, he said, voice breaking. I just didn't know who else to call. He told me the whole story, and I swear it could have been a movie. After college, Tyler landed a 6-figure job in real estate. Sam stayed with him, got into interior design, and they started living like royalty, high-rise apartment, vacations, fancy parties. But according to him, things started feeling off a few months ago. Sam had been on her phone constantly, hiding screens when he walked in, claiming she was busy with clients. Then one weekend, he went on a work trip. When he came back, his place was empty. Not just her things, everything. The furniture, the electronics, even the artwork. The joint account was cleaned out. And the kicker? She'd transferred all the money legally, because everything was technically shared. He was broke. Man, he said, almost whispering, I can't believe she'd do this. I laughed. It just came out, sharp, bitter, real. Tyler, I said, you stole her from me. Remember? High school. Senior year. That was different. Was it? I cut in. Because I remember you saying, if you can't keep her, she wasn't yours. He went silent. Now, here he was, sitting in the same pain he'd caused. The irony was perfect. Look, he said finally. I know I was an ass back then. But this is something else. She scammed me, man. The police say since it was joint property, it's not theft. I can't even file charges. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. So what do you need from me? I asked. He sighed. You were always the smart one. Maybe you can help me track her. She used a fake name for a real estate project, I can't trace it. Something in me snapped into gear. Not for revenge, but for closure. I told him to send everything, bank statements, emails, old messages. And over the next week, I dug into her trail like I was auditing her life. Turns out, Samantha had become a professional con artist. She'd been scamming wealthy clients for years under fake design contracts, moving money through shell accounts and crypto wallets. And Tyler? Just her biggest payday yet. A month later, I sent Tyler a folder. Inside were her fake identities, the companies she registered, even the new alias she was using in another state. He called me, voice shaking. You found her? Yeah, I said. She's in Florida. Using the name, Sarah Collins. Opened a new design firm. Probably waiting for her next victim. What do I do? I paused. You do what you want. But remember, this time, you can't say you didn't see it coming. He was quiet. Then he whispered, I deserve this, don't I? I didn't answer. 2 weeks later, he sent me one last message. I reported her. FBI's involved. They froze her accounts. She's going down. Guess karma's real after all. Thanks, man, for helping. I don't know if I ever said it, but I'm sorry. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied. You didn't owe me an apology. She just made sure you finally understood mine. Months passed. I didn't hear from him again until a year later. He'd lost everything, his career, his savings, his reputation. But he said he was rebuilding. Working a regular job, renting a small apartment, starting over. He sounded humble. For the first time ever. He said, I learned that when you take something that isn't yours, life takes something bigger in return. I told him I agreed. Last I heard, Samantha, or Sarah, took a plea deal for wire fraud. She's serving time. Tyler. He volunteers at a youth mentorship program now, helping kids from our hometown avoid the same mistakes he made. Sometimes I think about how different things might have been if he hadn't stolen her all those years ago. Maybe we'd still be friends. Maybe not. But one thing's for sure. I didn't need revenge. Karma handled it better than I ever could. Final thought. If there's one thing I learned from all this, it's that people who betray you don't escape, they just delay their consequences. He took my girl. She took his fortune. And all I took was peace of mind. She took more than his money. When the police finally got involved, I thought that would be the end of it. But it turned out to be just the beginning. Eric's parents hired a lawyer. Maya disappeared, literally vanished. The authorities said she had left the country using a fake passport, with a one-way ticket to Singapore. The $200,000. Gone. Every penny. Eric looked like a ghost. The same guy who used to flex his car keys and gold chain in the hallways now looked like someone who hadn't slept for days. He came to me one night. I was at a small diner near campus. He just sat across from me, didn't even order anything. She took everything, he muttered. I stayed quiet. He looked up. You knew what she was like, didn't you? I sighed. Yeah, Eric. I did. He ran his hand over his face. She told me you were obsessed with her. That you wouldn't let her go. I did let her go, I said calmly. You just picked up where I stopped. He stared at the table for a long time. Then he said something I didn't expect. I thought I won when she chose me. Now I realize I just took your bullet. I didn't say it out loud, but he was right. Weeks passed. Eric dropped out of school for a semester. He started selling off things he'd once bragged about, the Rolex, the car, even his laptop. Rumors spread that he owed money to the bank because of the loan Maya convinced him to take out for their business. Apparently, Maya had talked him into investing in her online brand, a fake wellness company. The paperwork was flawless, the pitch believable. But the account was under her name. He'd wired her everything. When I heard it, I couldn't even laugh. It was too sad. The same smooth confidence that made Maya attractive also made her dangerous. One night, Eric called again. She's back, he said. What do you mean, back? She texted me. Said she wants to talk. Said she's sorry. I felt that familiar pit in my stomach. Don't, I said. You already lost enough. But he didn't listen. They met the next day at a cafe downtown. He texted me an hour later. She cried. Said she was broke. Said she loves me. I told her I still care. What's wrong with me? I wanted to shake him through the screen. She'd burned him for 200 grand and he still couldn't walk away. But karma wasn't finished with her, not yet. A week later, Eric's mom called me in tears. She's in jail, she said. They caught her trying to cross the border again, with stolen credit cards. Maya had been caught using fake IDs and financial fraud tied to Eric's missing money. The bank traced her transactions. Everything linked back to her. Eric came to my apartment that evening. He didn't look relieved, just empty. She said in court she still loved me, he said bitterly. Like that means anything now. Then he looked up at me and said something I'll never forget. I took what wasn't mine. I took you for granted too. I ruined a friendship over a lie. I nodded slowly. Yeah, you did. He swallowed hard. I don't expect you to forgive me. But I needed to say it. He walked out, and that was the last time I saw him for a long while. Years passed. I graduated, moved to another city, built a small life, stable, quiet, honest. Sometimes I'd see people like Maya online, new names, new faces, same charm. And I'd think about how close I came to falling for it again. Then one morning, I got an email. No subject line. Just one sentence. Thank you for not letting me drown completely. It was from Eric. No return address, no details. But I smiled anyway. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't watching someone crash, it's watching someone finally wake up. What she left behind. It had been almost 6 years since everything went down. I was living in Chicago now, working as an accountant for a small but decent firm. My life wasn't flashy, but it was stable. I had peace, and that was worth more than anything Maya ever promised or Eric ever bragged about. Then one rainy Thursday, I got a message request on Facebook. Eric Walters. My stomach tightened. The last time I'd seen that name, it was attached to an apology I didn't know what to do with. His message read. Hey. I don't know if you'll even read this. But I think you should know, Maya died. I froze. Apparently, she'd been found in a small apartment in Miami. Overdose. The police found fake passports, dozens of credit cards, and a note, short, barely legible. "I never meant to become this." Eric said he only found out because her sister reached out. They'd dated again briefly after she got out of jail, against everyone's advice. "I didn't even know what to feel. Anger? Pity? Relief? It was all tangled together." Eric called me that night. "I know it's weird," he said quietly, "but I can't stop thinking about her. Like, if I'd walked away earlier, maybe she wouldn't have ended up like that." "You didn't create her demons," I said. "You just fed them for a while." He sighed. "Yeah. I guess we both did, huh?" He was right. I'd loved the idea of her once, not the real her, but the fantasy of saving someone beautiful and broken. He'd loved her for the same reason. We were two sides of the same mistake. Months later, Eric came to Chicago. He looked older, calmer. He told me he'd started working with a nonprofit that helped people avoid financial scams. Ironic, right? But he said it was the only way to make peace with what happened. We met for coffee near the lake. The air was cold, the sky low and gray. "You ever think about her?" he asked. "Sometimes," I said. "Mostly when I need to remind myself how far I've come." He nodded. "Same." We sat in silence for a while, listening to the waves hit the shore. Then he said, "I'm sorry again. For everything. Not just for her, for betraying you." I looked at him. "You already paid for that, Eric." "We both did." He smiled faintly. "Maybe. But I want to do better now." Before he left, he handed me an envelope. Inside was a check, not huge, but enough to surprise me. "What's this?" I asked. "It's part of what I got back after selling my parents' old house," he said. "You once told me money can show who people really are. I want to show you who I've become." I wanted to refuse, but he stopped me. "Take it. Not as payback, as closure." So I did. A year later, I saw a news article. A foundation had been started in Maya's name, the Grey Hope Fund, created by victims of financial manipulation to help others rebuild. Eric was listed as one of the founders. I stared at the photo for a long time. Him, standing next to a banner with her face, smiling, young, untouched by the chaos that followed. It didn't feel like revenge anymore. It felt like peace. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about that high school classroom, the jokes, the stares, the way everything seemed simple back then. But life teaches you through the people who hurt you. Some take your heart. Some take your money. And some, like Maya, take your illusions, so you finally see the truth. Eric lost $200,000, but found his conscience. I lost a girl, but found myself. And in the end, that's the best trade I ever made. It's been 10 years since that whole mess with Maya and Eric. Sometimes I still can't believe how something that started in high school could ripple through an entire decade of our lives. I'm 34 now. Married. 2 kids. A mortgage that feels like it never ends, and a job that's nowhere near glamorous but pays the bills and gives me peace. Every so often, when people talk about the one that got away, I think about Maya, and then I realize she wasn't the one that got away. She was the lesson I needed to learn the hard way. After her death, Eric and I stayed in touch. Slowly, we rebuilt something that resembled friendship, not the same easy laughter we had in school, but something deeper. Respect born from mutual scars. He turned the foundation into a full nonprofit. It now helps young people who get trapped in financial manipulation, not just scams, but emotionally abusive partners, controlling relationships, all that stuff most people don't talk about until it's too late. He asked me to join the board last year. I said yes. Sometimes we travel to schools together to give talks about financial literacy and emotional awareness. We stand in front of classrooms that look a lot like the one where it all started, and every time, I look around and think. If even one person here avoids the mistake we made, it's worth it. Last month, Eric and I met after an event. We sat in a quiet bar, two middle-aged guys reminiscing about our teenage stupidity. He said, "You know what's crazy? I don't even hate her anymore." I nodded. "Yeah. Me neither. She took everything from us," he said. "And somehow, gave us everything back," I added. He smiled. "Yeah. Just, in a different form." Maya's family never really talked publicly about what happened. Her sister still runs a small art page online. Sometimes she posts old photos of Maya, smiling, happy, before all the chaos. I don't comment. But I always stop scrolling for a moment and look. Not out of longing, but gratitude. Because without her, I might have spent my whole life confusing charm for love, or generosity for weakness. She broke two people, and somehow, those two people turned that pain into something useful. That's a strange kind of redemption, but I'll take it. If there's one thing I've learned in these 10 years, it's this. Money shows who people are, but loss shows who they become. Maya was a storm. Eric was the fool who chased it. And I was the one who tried to stand in the rain thinking I could stay dry. Now, I don't chase storms anymore. I build roofs. Final note. If you've ever been betrayed, by a lover, a friend, or both, know this. It won't always hurt this much. One day, you'll wake up, look at what's left, and realize you didn't lose everything. You just lost what was holding you back from finding peace. And that's what I finally found. The end.